Funny from Stefan's guard, most often with Stefan, you're going to see an Omoplata. From here, Stefan is controlling me with two levers. The first lever is my spine. He's heavy through his legs and keeping my head down. The second lever is my wrist. Do you see how he can actually use his hands just to push my head up and be able to go and tap me out? Now, of course, he's going to go and sit up and fully tap me out by using his entire body and then stretching me out and making my life miserable. We need to disassemble that. The very first thing is I need to keep my hand safe. He wants my hand as far away from my torso as possible so that way there's a clean 90-degree bend in the elbow and a nice 90-degree bend in my shoulder. I can grab my belt, and then once I have my belt, the angle starts to dissolve itself. Now I need to go and start to stand up. I'm going to post on my hand. I bring my head up as high as I possibly can. In addition to that, my knee that's closest to Stefan, in this case is my left knee, I'm going to place it on to his chest. Once I have this, I'm now going to go and find his ankle and I'm going to lift it up. Do you see how his whole body starts to become a lever for me? Once I have this, I want to go pull my arm straight out and then I'm able to go and escape. But this whole series is born from turning levers into frames. So I want to be able to go and support Stefan's weight as opposed to Stefan's weight and being employed on my spine. So, thank you, Stefan. Once Stefan has the Omoplata, I find my hand against my belt. I want to go and bring my head up as high as I possibly can. My knee then climbs on top of his chest. I want to find his ankle. See how I'm turning Stefan's entire body into a lever. Pull my arm free. And then look to dominate the top position. When I'm attempting to pass Stefan's guard, after years of training with Stefan, I've noticed that he sure likes guillotines. So do you see how Stefan will snap you down and then go guillotine? Now we want to see the guillotine as if it's a paper cutter. His forearm is the blade of the paper cutter and his shoulder is the base of the paper cutter. And my neck is that piece of paper. I need to go and I need to bring my head out of the paper cutter. The best thing to do is to try and bring my left ear onto his heart. Right now it's my right ear, but I need to bring my left ear onto his heart. I need to recognize the fact that we're in a guillotine choke. I'm going to bring my head down to the ground. And then I force my left ear onto his chest. And then that's how I escape. So essentially what we're trying to do is that instead of forcing our head underneath the base of the paper cutter and then against the blade, we want to be able to go and extract our head out so that way the piece of paper is pulled out from the paper cutter. So that way there's no shearing mechanism against the piece of paper. Instead of my right ear being against Stefan's chest, I want to turn and bring my left ear. Then again, guillotine, fall, turn, and then drive. As I'm looking to go and pass Stefan's guard, sometimes you fall into submission. Stefan has me as a 2-on-1, and then he's able to go and tie me up into a triangle choke. So the very first thing I want to do is that understanding the triangle choke, Stefan's leg here is the base of the paper cutter, whereas top leg is the blade of the paper cutter. So see how he's directly in front of me? If he's able to turn to the side slightly, now I'm going to fall right into that paper cutter mechanism. So that way the blade of the paper cutter and the base of the paper cutter are not in alignment. We need to go and make sure that there's lots of space and the blade of the paper cutter and the base of the paper cutter don't meet. Keeping square to Stefan, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and turn my spine into a frame and I lean back as far as I possibly can. Of course, I have to be careful of the armbar so that Stefan does not transition. From here, I'm now going to go bring my hand back and then I'm going to pummel my hand through this space and then I find myself into his closed guard. Still in danger, clearly, but at least I'm somewhat safe. Go into the triangle. From here, I'm going to posture up, turning my spine into a frame, finding some space for my hand to pummel through, and then looking to go and break into his closed guard. Stefan's armbar from the close guard is really good. One of the key things that keeps me safe is that my posture stays in alignment and my spine is a frame. If Stefan starts to go for that armbar right away, I need to go and ensure that my head stays up. So that way when he throws his leg up and then over, I'm really strong. Now my hand is still in danger. I'm going to turn my thumb so it faces Stefan. So that way he still can't go for the armbar. My head is nice and strong to support this weight. And then from here, I'm now going to use his leg as a lever. And I'm going to pin him down. My arm extracts, circles, and then I look to pass Stefan's guard. Then again, Stefan has the arm. He's attacking me with the arm bar. Go ahead, Stefan. Strong frame, thumb towards him. And then I turn his legs into a lever by stacking his knees together. Arm extracts. And then I circle around to complete the pass. So Stefan has me in an armbar for the mount. The very first thing I want to do is I want to go and keep this lever as safe as possible. So I'm going to find the tail end of it. I'm just going to bring it as close to me as possible. From here, I want to switch my grip. Instead of just grabbing on with my hand, I'm going to pass it off so I can grab onto my jacket. So that way my hand is free. We're going to go and look for a lever. Right now, Stefan's leg is acting like a frame, stopping me from being able to come up. But if I'm lucky enough, I can see his leg also as a lever. So I find the tail end of it, and now I'm going to bench press. I'm going to lift up his heel as high as I possibly can, and I want to extend my arm. From here, we're going to attack with a little bit of a rocking motion, and I try to sit all the way up. Once I've sat up, now low, and look to pass Stefan's guard. But this can be tough. We're not saying that these escapes are easy, but it is an answer for when you're trapped in an armbar. Can we do that again, please, Stefan? Stefan's attacking, defending that lever, pulling it in tight, finding my jacket, turning, finding that lever, extending it, rocking, pushing, and then hopefully with some luck, we can see that also as a pass. Oh, okay. Well, we're not going to let that happen again. So one of the best things to do when you're caught in a Kimura is you need to go and protect your hand. Notice how Stefan, once he's able to go and win the Kimura position, my hand is free. We have a strong 90-degree bend in the elbow and a strong 90-degree bend in the shoulder. This is exactly what Stefan wants. We need to go and defeat that. I'm going to go and I'm going to extend my leg, and then I'm going to find my knee with my hand. Once I have my hand braced against my knee, now I'm going to be heavy on my knee. I'm going to bring my knee down to the ground, thus bringing my hand closer to me. Once we have this, I'm going to further bolster that with my hand. I'm going to bring my hand close to my hand. Now, it's going to be tough for everybody to see, but I want to bring my thumb to my shoulder. So he's attacking my left arm. My left hand wants to go into my own left armpit, and this is what I'm trying to do. So that again with Stefan, he has my hand. My hand is protected through my knee, bolstered by my weight, further cemented with my hand, bringing my thumb to my shoulder. Once I have this in, then the grip will start to break apart. I need to find posture. If I'm lucky enough to get this, that's pretty much fictitious. However, I still want to go and try to find posture. Almost always, Stefan will bring his hand free, and then we'll wind up back into a static position, just like that. But that's how you go and protect against the Kimura, by always bringing your hand to your shoulder. This is how you want to try and defend. Last time, with the Kimura, bringing my hand to my shoulder to defend. Unfortunately, I'm caught in Stefan's lapel choke. From here, I need to go and march forward. So that way my head is north of Stefan's head. Once we have this, this will keep me safe for a little while. But what I want to do is I want to move my head off center, and I want to bring my hand inside, and I want to bring his elbow close to the ground. Heavy through my forearm, and then I'm going to lift my head up so that way I break that grip. Once that grip is broken, now I can start to look to break the other grip, and we can start our passing strategies. Stefan has the cross choke. This sucks. March forward, off center, block, peel, and then look to stay safe. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in bottom mount with Stefan, and he's applying the cross lapel choke. I'm going to trap these arms, and I want to stay safe as best I can. I'm lucky enough to be able to go and bridge up, over, and then find myself in the guard. I want to bear crawl. So that way my head is above his head. I'm gonna off center my head, find my forearm into his elbow, heavy with my arm as I bring my head up, and then I'm in his closed guard and I can look to go and defend. Stuck in mount, Stefan goes for that lapel choke, control his arms, bridge. From here, bear crawl, north, off center, block, lift up my head, find posture, and then look to pass. Stefan has my back, and then he goes right away for the bow and arrow. Now, how do we defend? This is a terrible situation. What I want to try and do is I need to get parallel to Stefan's spine and not perpendicular. The reason why I want to do this is so that way my head is not a sheet of paper for him to cut. His forearm is a paper cutter. And do you see how this is the blade? And his hip is the base of the paper cutter. So I want to straighten out my leg as best I can. He's probably still going to hold on to my pant leg, but I walk, so I get as parallel as I possibly can. Both of my hands find his arm. This is the blade of the paper cutter. And what I want to try and do is I'm going to slip that piece of paper out of the paper cutter so that way there is no longer any threat of that sheet of paper being sheared in half. That again, I try to walk away and then my head goes into the armpit. I'm looking into Stefan's heart, the crown of my head goes into his armpit, and then I'm able to go and escape. Of course, Stefan still has a pretty good position, but at least I've escaped the bow and arrow.